next perfume I have is a relic in my collection. This was gifted to me by a previous boyfriend from many years ago. This is Shanghai Lily by Tom Ford. I know, he was a good man. He was a good boy. We're actually still pretty good friends. Shanghai Lily is a beautiful perfume. I used to compare this a lot to Youth Dew by Estee Lauder, which is my mother's signature scent. However, over time, I no longer have that opinion. I think the lily in here and the way it's done combined with ambery notes, definitely there's, you know, a very distant similarity with the way the lily is treated in here. In here, it's quite dense, it's quite opulent, it's very rich, it's sort of velvety. Yeah, it's a stunning fragrance, this one, and I'm really sad that it's been discontinued. Anyway, so I thought it was very similar. I used to think it was very similar to Youth Dew, but Youth Dew has a lot more patchouli and spicy notes. This is a little bit spicy, but it's a lot more toned down, and I definitely don't get that massive patchouli bomb that I get from Youth Dew. So, eating my own words, I don't think this is that similar to Youth Dew at all. And I really love this. Like I said, it has been discontinued, but this is a really great work scent. I think this sort of sits up there with Homme und Woman to me in terms of making me feel very powerful in the office, but yet still feminine. Looking forward to wearing that. I haven't worn that in ages. Sex and the Sea Neroli by Francesca Bianchi. This is the time of year that I wear this fragrance. It's a very deep neroli fragrance. It's not overly sweet, and it really does smell like neroli. It's more green and woody. It's not super green though. It's kind of more woody and resinous to me. It doesn't smell really like orange blossom to me. So if you're not a fan of orange blossom and you steer away from neroli because of the similarities often, or the fact that it's often paired with orange blossom, I wouldn't worry about that too much. There's a hefty dose of coconut in here as well, and it is a little bit animalic. Some of the Francesca Bianchi fragrances are a little bit too animalic for me, but this one is not. It definitely is a great summer fragrance, and it definitely packs a punch. It has great longevity. It doesn't project for a long time though. So that's probably why I quite enjoy wearing it. Anyway, so that is Sex and the Sea Neroli. Next one is one, I don't even remember when I bought this. I honestly don't. I think it was 2020 I bought this bottle. It had the old label. And so I thought, oh, it's an original. This is Gris Clair by Serge Lutens. Turns out I actually really love this, but I hadn't really paid that much attention to it until recently. This is a really beautiful aromatic fragrance, perfect for the hot weather because it's just so crisp and cooling. It's got lots of lavender in it, but it doesn't feel like a men's cologne. It still has a very unisex feel to it. There's woody notes in here. I feel like I get orris in here as well. It just usually sort of towards the dry down or the mid and the dry down, I feel like I just get these orrisy tones, which I really enjoy. This is really beautiful and totally underrated. It's still available in the new bottles, and I just never hear anyone talking about it, me included, but now I'm talking about it because it's been sitting in my cupboard for a couple of years now and I hadn't touched it. And I think the no buy had something to do with that. The fact that I've now discovered this one because I was going through my drawers and actually trying to see what I had. So many things I'd forgotten I had. It was ridiculous. Anyway, so this one is definitely getting some wear this month. It's going to be perfect for the hot weather. One that might be a surprise for the hot weather, although maybe not, I'm not sure. This is Embers by Thione Reintel. This is a natural perfume. Thione Reintel is a local perfumer here in Brisbane, although she has definitely built a name for herself globally within Fragcom. This is a very special fragrance because this one used Mysore sandalwood, which is almost impossible to get now, and it's in very limited supply and it's endangered, and you're just not going to find a lot of Mysore sandalwood actually popping up in perfumes now. A lot of Australian sandalwood has been replacing Mysore sandalwood in fragrances. So she had an original sort of perfume. I'm not sure if it was called Embers or if it was called something else, which was sort of centered around this Mysore sandalwood. And then she'd sort of been not hoarding, but she'd sort of been keeping aside like the rest of her Mysore sandalwood, I don't know, for a rainy day or whatever. And then she sold out of the original perfume, and at some point, you know, in the last couple of years, she made the decision. I think this is how it went. I mean, this is the story I have in my head. I'm not sure if I'm making things up now. So maybe take this part of the video with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure this is the story, was that she decided that because Mysore sandalwood was endangered and, you know, it was just been over harvested and very hard to get and very expensive, she just decided to make the call to dump the rest of the Mysore sandalwood that she had into the mix of what she had left of the original perfume. And so she ended up with this fragrance here, which is the overdosed Mysore sandalwood perfume called Embers. I think I got that right. Sorry, Tione, if I just totally mucked all that up. But anyway, this is a beautiful fragrance. It doesn't smell how I imagined it was going to smell. I thought it was going to smell... All right, that's better. Sorry, I just had to change the battery on the light, and now I actually look like I'm here. I'm not sitting in a dark room. Yeah, this one didn't smell the way I thought it was going to smell. I kind of expected something more woody and dry. This definitely smells woody, but it has this beautiful amberiness to it, and also some kind of dark fruit. And I think from memory, it might be cherry, but I feel like I get some kind of cherry nuance to it, but I don't really want to just spritz it because I don't want to waste it. This stuff is very precious. Yeah, it's super interesting. It is actually, when you put it on skin, it's quite woody, but it's got this lovely ambery base. When I sniff it from the atomizer, it's that is what I get more of. I get the sweetness of that ambery base. But yeah, it's definitely woody. It's not as creamy as I imagined it would be, but it's soft, you know, it's just a beautiful, soft sillage. The woodiness is definitely coming out now, and it's also quite aromatic, although I'm wondering if I'm just getting sort of aromatic nuances because I just spritzed Gris Clair a few minutes ago. Tione Reintel's perfumes are beautiful, but they're really hard to describe. They hardly ever smell how I think they're going to smell when I read what's in them. You really just have to experience them. So that is Embers from Tione Reintel. I just have a feeling that'll go really beautifully on. I've only worn that in the cooler months so far, but I just have a feeling that will go so nicely on a warm, balmy summer's evening. We've gone through 10 so far. This video is going to be very long. I don't know why. Maybe I need to stop talking about the perfumes quite so much. The next up is one that was gifted to me at Christmas time. This is a secondhand bottle. This is Narciso Rouge by Narciso Rodriguez. You know, I've used up my EDT black cube of this last year, and I was in the market for a new Narciso, and I was in the process of sampling different ones from the line, and a friend of mine said she had this and she didn't really wear it, so she gifted it to me, which I was so grateful for, which means that now I don't have to rush out and buy a Narciso perfume, although I do have my eye on a bottle of the white cube, which is, I think, the Gardenia and Tuberose one, because I love white florals, and I just, you know, I know that's been discontinued, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should get a bottle of that while I can. But this one I really love. This one has rose and iris as the floral elements of it, even though iris is a root, not the flower, but you know what I mean. So I really like this. It's quite sweet. I probably will only wear this in the evenings on the really hot days because I just think it might be a little bit too sweet for the daytime in the heat, but it is a gorgeous musky perfume, and that's all I have to say about that. Next up, I think this one was in my last rotation as well, but every time I wear this one, Matt always goes, "Oh, that's nice. What are you wearing?" And this one is from a dupe house, actually. It's from Be Layered, and it's called Mia's Blend. Now, I think at some point I may have said in a video that this was like an original perfume from this company, and I may have been wrong on that. I think it might actually be a dupe of Mira & Tonka, or inspired by Mira & Tonka, put it that way. So it's very spicy, this one. In fact, spicy to the point of being a little bit sharp, but I quite like that, particularly in the hot weather, because in the summer here, you just don't want anything too cloying. So it really cuts through the humidity and the heat. It's quite peppery, it's very resinous, but it's not overly sweet. And I think that's what I really like about it. It's not overly sweet. It's also a little bit aromatic as well. So it does have a bit of a brightness to it, or a coolness to it, or a menthol sort of tinge to it. I don't know what the notes are, but I know there's definitely myrrh. It's beautiful. I really rate this one. So I really should probably try the Myrrh and Tonka from Jo Malone and see if they are similar.